Welcome to Embracing Infinity, exploring the infinite oneness in the space of love and truth. Host Jennifer Rose is an international spiritual medium, healer, channeler, mentor, and transformational guide. Her focus is encouraging individuals to know themselves within the lens of their divine heart and highest potential, to evolve within the frequency of love and peaceful harmony. Now, here's your host, Jennifer Rose.
Hello. Happy Friday, happy weekend, everybody. Welcome to Embracing Infinity. I'm Jennifer Rose, and we are on the Sacred Spiral Network. I hope you all are doing well, and thank you for your patience here today as we're going live just a tad later. All is well, and I'm very excited about our conversation here today. This is part 2 of The Other Side of Infinity with our good friend who we know and love so dearly, Mr. Colin Walker from the Minorca Consciousness Group. So excited to be going into part 2. And if you didn't catch part 1, I do recommend finding that over on YouTube, either on my channel at Medium Jennifer Rose, on Colin's channel at Minorca Consciousness Group, or on the Sacred Spiral Network channel at Sacred Spiral Network too. So you can go and catch up on that. We didn't have enough time to cover everything. We didn't even get to ETs and star beings and all of this yet, because we went so deep dive into time and space reality last times too. So please do go catch up on that if you didn't get a chance, or if you want a refresher as well too. So thank you all for joining us and being here today. So happy to see all of you. A few quick announcements, if I may. Later on this afternoon, the lovely producer of the Sacred Spiral Network, Miss Kelly Brickle, will be going live on her show, The Psychic Hour, and she is interviewing Paranormal Pete from his show as well too, that he has on the Sacred Spiral Network. So that should be a lot of fun. He's a great guy, super nice, super knowledgeable as well too. So that should be a really fun interview. And tomorrow, my friends, I hope I'm not missing anything. I have a hard time keeping track of all the shows. Tomorrow we have Messages from the Enchanted Realms with myself and Miss Fran Pierce and Shannon Rattay. I know you all love that show. It's quite fun and uplifting and a bit comedic, but we do messages on this show from angels and fairies and dragons and whatever of the fun magical realms would like to come in and connect with our viewers and guests. So please do join us for Messages from the Enchanted Realms at 2:30 p.m. Pacific, which is 10:30 p.m. in the UK. And this is followed by Shannon Rattay once again, her show, Guided Life. So I believe she is talking about ancestors tomorrow and connecting with ancestors. And that comes on at 4:15 Pacific, 7:15 Eastern, and 12:15 a.m. in the UK. There we go. So more fun shows coming on tomorrow. And please, this Sunday is my For the Love of Spirit Sunday spiritual service. You can sign up and get the Zoom link to join that by going on to mediumjenniferrose.com. And it's over on the events page. Our guest medium for Sunday is our beloved Lynn Juno, who just went live earlier with her show, Kaleidoscope of the Soul. Fabulous medium, and we're happy to have her back on For the Love of Spirit Sunday spiritual service. It's modeled after spiritualism, but is a non-denominational service. We have mediumship, healing, inspiration, poetry, music, love. It is a big love fest over there. So I do welcome you to come and join us as well too. And again, that's on mediumjenniferrose.com. 10 a.m. on Sunday in the Pacific time and 6 p.m. in the UK. So, okay, almost done. And then coming up on Monday, we've got the Monday night lineup with Karen Bonifilio, Inner Realms, Outer Journeys, followed by Brian Lars' show, Be in the Light. Super awesome shows, both of them, followed by The Love Show, my sister show at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And I am interviewing, once again, Kelly Brickle, the producer of the Sacred Spiral Network. We're talking about numerology as it connects with love. So what the numbers can tell us about our relationships and love. So that's going to be a lot of fun and very informative as well too. So thanks for listening to all of those fun announcements. And again, I hope you all are doing well. Let's say hello to everybody while we're here too. So I want to make sure I have a chance to acknowledge everybody who's come. I want to say hi to Mr. Arnie Layton. I believe I saw you here with us as well. Thank you for being here. Hi, Arnie. Good to see you. And Brian Lar, good to see you as well. Thank you, my friends, for joining us. Hello, Evelyn. Evelyn has made it from the lovely Solvang, California. We've got a lot of people here. Wow, this is excellent. Brenda Lucas, hello, hello. Good to see you. I believe our beautiful Heidi Gold from Boulder, Colorado is in the house. Thanks for always helping to share out, Heidi, too. So thanks for being here and joining us as well. So lovely to see you, too. So I'm so happy that you all are all here. So thank you all for being here as well. I believe I see Katya again. Let me see here. Just Walton. Hello, hello. Good to see you. I know it's like we just saw each other over on Lynn's show, and now we're back again. And it's Kalia, I see. Good to see you, Kalia. Thanks for joining us. We're not doing readings on this show, but you're going to have a lot of fun listening into what we're talking about because we get out there and it's a lot of fun. Hello, Sharon from Nottingham. Thanks for joining us. So happy that you're here. Thank you. Thank you. And let me see here. Everybody's here. Tammy. Good to see you, Tammy. Love and light to you too. Thank you for being here. Welcome, welcome everybody too. Hopefully, I haven't missed anybody. Linda Owen, yes, evening to you too. Kim McClellan is back again too. I am so sorry I didn't get that right. Good afternoon to you too. Hello, Presh Pandey. Good to see you as well. So happy that you're here. And there is our lovely Lynn Juno. Good to see you, Queen of Kaleidoscope and Rainbows, my dear. Looking forward to seeing you this Sunday on Spiritual Service. So excited. We're all here, and Miss Carolyn, thank you for being here as well too. So it looks like everybody's all good and ready to go. Excellent. Okay. All right, my friends. Angela as well. What a pretty name. Thanks for being here, Angela. Good to see you. And Jay Cook as well here too. So a few more friends joining us on too. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I have a fun little what do you call it? Restore your faith in humanity story to tell you for just a minute too. I'm sure a lot of you have been following because this has gone international as well too. Over in Wisconsin, there has been this massive rescue effort for these beagles in this breeding facility that literally breeds beagles for animal testing, which we all know is outdated and unnecessary now. And so basically, this place in Wisconsin was farming like 2,000 beagles that they had growing up in wire cages and being bred and being used for lab testing too. They were cited for violations of code that were, cruel to animals. And in the meantime, before they, release their licenses, what's going to happen to all these beagles? And so the good news is that 1,500 of them were basically, they agreed to sell them. So they didn't give them away, but they agreed to sell them and are in the process of being moved. And this has been an interstate effort, multiple people and organizations all coming together to make this happen. And we're still got to work on these last 400 or 500 that are in there that haven't been, released yet too. But I want to just say what progress that this has made, because it's like this is one area where we can see what teamwork does. We can see what coming together does for a common goal, a common effort. And this was like love in action. And I'm watching this take place. And we really needed to see this when we're seeing a lot of just, horrible other things that are going on right now too. And it's also sparked further legislation against, puppy mills and other animal cruelty things that have occurred too. So progress is being made. So a nice restore your faith in humanity story too. I'm a beagle mom myself, but and as we know, they're very friendly, and that's one of the reasons why they're used a lot too. So, but what's been so beautiful, everybody, is that these puppies, it's sad and beautiful all in one. This little sad and beauty coming together. They're touching grass for like the first time in their life. They're feeling the sunshine on their face. Can you remember how you feel when you get sick and you've been like locked indoors for a week or two sick, and then you finally get to go outside and get fresh air, and you're like, oh, imagine years not being able to do that and being a pup. and just feeling the sun on their face for the first time. And so there's a lot of beauty in that. So let us just like take in the wins. And this was a really big win, and to see all kinds of people coming together. Um, it and it wasn't about politics, or maybe a little bit, but it wasn't about, all different sides, all people of different sides, different religions, different political views, all coming together to help the dogs. So win-win, way to go. So with that, I also want to thank everybody else who's come on joining us. Thank you for letting me share my fun little story. I feel like it's important. I know a lot of you have probably been keeping track of that yourself, because it's been, all over the news and all over social media as well too. Um, yes, we probably will, Evelyn. Yes, I haven't picked the. We always give. So you're allowed to, for Sunday service. Evelyn is asking a question. So for my Sunday service, it's a free or donation. So if you go on there, you just go on the donation button. If you want to come for free, you press in $0. And if you want to make a donation, you can enter in whatever you want. And I always give a portion of that to a charity. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm going right now. The last one we absolutely did for these, because there's multiple organizations. So I'll be kind of like splitting it up, a little for you, a little for you, a little for you. So yeah, so we've got to help the dogs, and that's a common thing that everybody loves. We all love our kitties and our puppies too. So yes, yes, yes. And again, that's mediumjenniferrose.com is my website. You can also sign up for my newsletter as well if you would like to, and keep apprised of all my upcoming events that I have going on, including my Sunday services. So let me just catch up really quick, and then we're going to bring on the fabulous and amazing Colin Walker in just a second. I want to say hi to Philosophy with Rish. Thank you for being here. Aloha Vivian, thank you for being here. Patrick Monaghan from Ireland, thank you for being here. Maria Coppola, thank you for being here. I'm glad you liked my happy story that I got to tell. Kendra, thank you for joining us. Carol Johnson, great to see you too. Thank you for being here, Carol. Oops, I messed that up. I messed up on one of the comments. Here it is. Oops, Joseph Pritchard, thank you for being here. Good to see you. So I think we're all, this was super cute. Let me see here. Kim is saying happy for the Beagles. Just the start, indeed. We're gonna get this done. And thank you, Jennifer, for all the love. Yeah. And then Evelyn is saying puppy power. Absolutely, puppy power. So I was so happy. I just have been so happy. And I want to say hi to my friend Rick. God afternoon to you too, my friend. Thank you for being here. I'm so happy you made it. Tammy, Margaret, and Michelle, so happy that you made it. Okay, my friends. Colin, we're ready for you. Let's welcome our dear friend, Colin Walker from the Menorca Consciousness Group. You ready, Colin?
Okay.
There you are.
Finally. Hello.
How are you?
Oh, I am so sorry for the delay. I'm sorry.
It's no problem. We're just happy that you're here, alive, well, and healthy.
It's great to be here. Jennifer, thank you so much. And hello to everybody what's joining us. I've just, to be honest, I've just done a in-person event. So I expected to be back literally in time for this 10, 15, well, at least 15 minutes before we started. So, and then the messages overran because it was in person. So, but it was a beautiful session. It was a beautiful evening with everybody. And I don't always get the opportunity to do in-person demonstrations.
Yeah, I know.
So sorry, I'm very sorry about it. Lovely to see you anyway. Thank you so much.
I'm just happy you're here, Colin. So, and you had a few minutes to chill out while I was chatting with everybody too. Yeah. So I'm just happy you made it.
Oops, sorry, hang on. Oh, 1 minute. There we go.
Yeah, we do have a little. I can hear a little bit of static.
Is that any better?
Yeah, that is better, actually. Yes.
Let's try that then. Yeah.
Yeah, that's much better. Woo.
It gave me time to have a cup of tea.
There we go. I'm glad you had that. Okay, my friend. So last time, a few weeks ago, and we knew we didn't finish the topic. We were talking about the other side of infinity, and we were going up the ladder and the spiral and talking about time and talking about dimensions. And I went and re-listened to it, and I was just like, boy, we did go into pretzels in the mental field, which is a lot of fun. We didn't get to really talk about star beings, our friends are interdimensional beings, or ETs, whatever we want to call them. And we didn't get to that part to see where that's going on. And since then, so I'm jumping right into it. Is that okay?
Yes, let's do it. I'm ready.
We're like jumping right into it. Okay.
I'm part there from the session area.
I know, right? So since then, I feel like there's been because there's been so many things being revealed, and I think that the interest in how they are connecting to this really bizarre story that's unfolding, which some people, I would say, have been saying all along that this is happening. And now the mainstream is like, oh, wow, this is really happening. They weren't wrong. Right.
Yeah.
And so all of these things are being exposed, disclosed, coming out to the stream.
Yeah.
It's a little scary because it's like, they're not even trying to hide it. Some of the,
yeah,
some of the people who are doing things that are very destructive. I will say that the destructors in this too, they're not even hiding what they're doing. It's just like, so it's gotten to be very bold, and I'm just like, whoa, this is an interesting time we found ourselves in. But we know we're evolving, we know we're ascending. But there's been this renewed interest now in what role that our ET friends are playing in the ascension process, but also what role they've been playing in all along, and have some of them been less helpful and some of them been more helpful, and if some of them helped to cause this, so those kinds of things I've been noticed are being renewed. So it's not my expertise, but I'd like to definitely see what we can do to sort of, yeah, exactly. So handing it over to you. I know it. I just gave you this big web of ideas.
So maybe the best place to start is the truth of where we are at the moment, which is that shift, the shift which is taking place towards a new, let's say, environment of being, or new way of being. We know there's, in minimum now, we know we're moving towards an ethereal state because we're connecting to the ether more and more on a daily basis. So that's the initial part. Regarding all these wonderful, beautiful star beings, cosmic beings, etc., Arcturians, Pleiadians, the name just goes on and on and on, because what we're looking at is a situation, in this case on the planet, where we can safely say, for some reason, our light has been placed here, individually and collectively, to bring light into this sphere, this, what I call this plane of existence. And then we narrow it down to the planet, what we call Earth, where we're physically inhabiting, as we know. And what we've got is a system in place which very clearly knows that we are evolving now. This is the time of the cosmos, and this is my understanding is this is cosmic order now dictating the terms. So this is nature in its essence, but let's say it's cosmic order, and it's saying, for in whatever way, shape, or form it is, now is the time for the masses, every soul on the planet, to expand their consciousness and ascend their consciousness. Now, we know when we expand or ascend, what we're talking about is the psyche, the mind, our awareness is expanding in all directions. So it's multi-directional. And as the consciousness expands in a multi-directional manner, it therefore embraces and comes across and senses multi-dimensional energies. So this is kind of like nature unfolding to such a point where it says, well, once you start expanding, you are going to encounter the vibrations, wavelength frequencies, vibrations, and energies of multidimensional states of being, i.e., other worlds, other realms, other planes of existence. The system what's in place is trying to prevent it. It has always tried to prevent it because there's been a system in place for thousands of years which has tried to contain the human psyche and keep it closed. Because then we can say by keeping humanity's mind and awareness closed and condensed, they main control. And in a way, it's not so much about they main control, but it's more to do with once the light shines, they have to either come into the light or they have to leave. And that's the situation at the minute. And what they are doing is exactly what you said, Jennifer. They're not hiding it any longer. It's always been hidden, but this saying, which everybody now is, fully aware of, all must come into the light. No rock will be left unturned. The light's going to shine everywhere. It's like light is like water. It will seep in and get in every nook and cranny. So that which has been hidden is now being shined upon. There's a light shining on it. And people are now starting to realize not so much the truth, but realize what's been going on. So there's this double parallel mindset where people have to adapt to the awakening process. And at the same time, the mind, their psyche has got to adapt to the truth, which has been taking place since time memorial, really, as far as the system is concerned. Now, and I won't go on the negative side with it, but we know what's happening, especially this rapid acceleration of awakening. That's created a rapid acceleration of negative actions on the planet. So how do we manage this? Well, at the end of the day, what we say is, okay, we need to manage our energies, look after our light, protect our mind, and at the same time expand. And the most important thing is to blend with those cosmic beings, to our spiritual guides and cosmic beings, because we know there's a convergence going on between the spirit world and the cosmic planes. They're all working together. And so the key really is for all of us to get as close to those as we possibly can. Clear our old energies, because nobody's getting into the fourth and fifth dimension carrying any negative aspect. It can't go there. It's too heavy. It's too dense. There's a density to it. So all these cosmic beings now have just thrown a card. They've thrown a spanner in the works and gone, you either declare and disclose this truth, or we will basically appear and materialize where it will not be disputed. So it's almost like a soft approach, because for a lot of people, we know that the system is that ingrained within their, and the conditioning is that ingrained. It will be too much of a shock for people to get their head around it in one go. So it's got to be this gentle unfoldment, which we've always known about. We know that it's like spiritual, when we have the awakening or we expand our psyche, whatever we want to call it, it's got to be gradual. Only a few minds can withstand a full impact of a shock. And that's very rare on the planet. So everybody else has got to be, kind of gently in their own way, and then gradually unfold. And then, okay, so we've got other beings helping us, etc. And then that's it. We know everything is infinity is very present in the moment. So these is, like you say, this is very interesting moment in the evolution of this world and all of us.
Boy, when The Secret came out back in, I don't know, the 80s or 90s, we thought, what an exciting time to be on the planet. Well, look at us now, my goodness. Too.
Yeah.
And yes, Arnie was saying ascension equals awareness. Higher we ascend, the more we are aware of all around us. Nothing stops this time. Just discern what you hear on the news and go within. Yeah, very 100%. Good. Thank you. Thank you, Arnie. Collin, can you explain the system, just in case there's anyone here who doesn't fully understand what that means? Because there's a lot of polarity right now, especially men and women, and feminine, masculine polarities playing out too, and a lot of this happening too. And we're trying to say, no, it's not that. Is it the patriarchy, or is it something that ETs have? The nefarious, perhaps ones have helped to change who we once were. So this is a lot of the information that's coming out, and how do people who may be a little bit newer to this like sort all that out
Yeah.
and understand it, because there's a space for that too, because I'm finding that people who like, even friends of mine, we would only talk about spirit world, and all of a sudden we're talking about ETs and all of this and things that too. And so the conversations are changing. And so people are definitely wanting to understand and know
Thankfully.
more. Yeah.
Yes,
So
I'm like, yes, finally. We're getting to the good stuff now. So,
yeah, but it's wild. It's like, it's wilder than a science fiction movie, I
very
think, at
much.
this point.
Jennifer, very much.
Yeah.
So what we've got is a situation where if we imagine that we are not just beings of light ourselves. We know and I know a lot of people know this. We've had countless lifetimes, and so that initially tells us we are not of the body, the physical body as we understand it. We are in minimum ethereal forms. Now let's expand even and go beyond the ethereal aspect. We know we are what we can initially describe as forms of energy, and therefore we are forms of awareness. And yet the form, what we consider with our human mind, our what's called the mundane mind or present consciousness, that same form doesn't apply when we're talking from a multi-dimensional perspective. We've got to then go, okay, it appears that we are forms, but if we are beyond form, i.e. if we are formless, and I don't want to get too technical for people, but we are formless. Now, that takes some getting used to and kind of comprehending. And in order to comprehend formlessness, we've really got to, like Arnie said, we've got to go within. We must go within, because as we go within, we expand outwardly. And therefore, we begin to loosen the conditioning. We loosen, what we're doing is loosening the attachment to what we call the physical form, the physical body. So in order to understand formlessness, we've got to move beyond the perception of form. And we can only do that by our mind. So, okay, let's look at ourselves in its basic form then, or use a different term. We are beings of awareness. We are beings of energy. Now, when we use, because this word multidimensional can be thrown about too easy as well these days. So multidimensional beings means that we are radiating wavelength frequencies of vibrations of awareness. Those vibrations, etc., are awareness itself, of a cosmic scale, of an infinite scale. So what we've chosen to do, those of us on the planet, is bring a part of our awareness into this plane of existence and onto this what we call the physical planet. And then we're trying to make sense of it, what's going on. But what we can safely say is, when we're making reference to a system, and this is where it really gets interesting, is the polarity aspect between light and dark. We're in the middle. There's an acceptance of the light and there's an acceptance of the dark. Well, not so much an acceptance of the dark, but when we get to a certain point, there's an acceptance of it, because we're at the center point of our soul, if you like, the center point of our awareness, which is totally detached from all these earthly dense emotions and also dense frequencies of thought energy. And as we expand and ascend beyond the thought energy, then we're going towards the realm of formlessness, and yet we are aware. So the system has spotted this, the system has seen this, and it wants to draw humanity into what I call a psychic abyss. And that's where we're seeing all this activity on the planet, which is very destructive, as we know. Now, the question remains, or comes, Why are we present with all this destruction? Why are we seeing all this destruction? Why is the cosmos of this nature? Now, initially, we tend to get hurt and upset and offended and terrified or fearful or whatever, anxious, etc. It doesn't matter what the list is, because we're attached to this the earthly vibrations of this plane. We're mentally and emotionally attached to it. So what we do is, once we start doing the letting go process, the shadow work, healing, etc., we know we start losing the attachment. When we lose the attachment to the dense frequencies, what replaces them? The higher, finer, purer frequencies of our own awareness. And then we start seeing the light in everything and the light in everyone. So we can say what we're looking at is ultimately bringing light into this plane of existence in order just for the light to be present. And anything of a dense, heavy nature, whether it's a person's thoughts or emotions, have got to be transformed, i.e. cleared, cleansed, purified, doesn't matter what name we give it. And in conjunction with this, we're in direct alignment and direct attunement with cosmic beings who are assisting us in this process. If we just take one little step, and I'm going to be very cautious here, but I'm going to throw this one out there. I'm going to throw it out there. So if we take one little step, what we're looking at is also light and dark playing out beyond the earth plane on other frequencies and planes. So this, let's say, this event is not just exclusive to the earth. It's off planet as well. So we've got to, so in effect, we're all working what we call the greater good, but we're all kind of working for the light to shine in the cosmos, in this area of the cosmos, with the direct help and assistance with star beings, cosmic beings, etc., etc. You know, that's why we're seeing so much channeling now. They're trying to tell us and help us and guide us. And the key word here, really, which has been coming in for so long now, is preparation. They've been pounding away for years and years and years. Prepare, prepare, prepare. The event is getting closer, you know, and we can see this as we can't just see it, we're a part of it. Finally, on the last note, my understanding is we're about to see the end of polarity. And from that, the end of polarity, we know what we're going to have: oneness, that just being, and therefore we'll recognize the formlessness of our own awareness, and the most magical waves and energies and frequencies and abilities are going to be, you know, flowing through us like at an astounding pace and in an astounding, mesmerizing, magical manner for all of us, for every soul. So yeah, you're touching on something here.
you handled that very delicately.
Well, considering you dropped that straight in, Jennifer, I thought, oh, wow.
I know. So inquiring minds want to know, Colin. So Arnie was saying, yes, lifetimes, not only here as other life forms. Yes. And Brian was like, yes. So he's understanding. And again, Arnie, light shines on dark and exposes it. It cannot hide. Very true. Just like when we go to 4D, each will no longer be able to hide anything as telepathy becomes more and all. That's a big thing, is the telepathy. You can't hide, you know. So like and Evelyn's saying, "Holla freaking Lula," and Vivian says, "Wow." Colin, you say it much better than me.
No, I don't think so, Arnie. You're quite an eloquent speaker, Arnie.
Indeed, he is. And hello to everybody who's joined us. Thank you for being here. And so I've got a bunch of questions, Colin. I'm oh my God, I'm going to go crazy here. So I want to stop and I want to talk about Arnie for a second, because you know there's this balance of not getting pulled into it, into the density, and keeping a little bit of a detachment and holding the space and seeing this playing out and remaining the observer. But then there's a point where, like, is our silence becoming compliance, where we're not actually helping because we're not speaking out, we're not using our voice. And I just want to give Arnie some credit, because whether, you believe Arnie or not with what he's saying, it's like he says it, he puts it out there, and he's, so I want to give you some love for that, for just using your voice and seeing what is meaningful to you, and displaying that too, because it seems to be hard for us to do. So it's finding the balance of speaking out. Like, I'm not happy what I see going on in the Middle East, especially with women and young girls and things like that. It hits my heart really hard, and I understand I can't get pulled into density, but it also is like, what's taking this so long? My human Colin is like, what is taking this so long? Why aren't they helping more? And I do understand many of us are star seeds here. So we actually came here to help with the light, raising the frequency, building the grid, amplifying the grid. So we are the ones saving ourselves, if you speak. But at the same time, it's like, look what's, it's like, this is still happening, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's a lot for us to process. What do we do with all of that?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, this is beautiful, Jennifer. Firstly, I would 100% agree with you and fully support Annie. It's like each must play his role, and Annie is playing a brilliant role, and that voice, it's like what you're saying is remaining silent, complicit. That's an interesting. Do you say something? Do you remain quiet? Now, one thing what I understand over all these, after all the analysis of viewing these layers and levels and frequencies on so much, is everybody's got to go with their own intuition, and action is the most important thing. Action is the number one. I understand people maybe want to speak out but might feel a little bit hesitant or fearful. Then that's where they are in that moment. Others, are shouting it from the rooftops, like Annie and so many others out there. They're doing amazing, because they're informing people. They're reflecting the truth of what's, predominantly the truth of what's going on. Those what are silent, they're doing amazing for me, because they're kind of holding the light in a way. And then, of course, you've got so many others what are doing things what nobody's even heard of, behind the scenes, hidden, not in the public eye whatsoever. And some of those are in the battlefront. They're on the front line, and nobody, these are the unsung heroes. In fact, to refer to them as the unsung heroes is an insult to them, So what we've got is a multitude of aspects playing out. I believe, my understanding is, each one is playing a role. Every single soul is playing a role. The other aspect here is, when we look at what do we do about it for all of us, what's very interesting is, if we look at religions, according to all religions, apart from Buddhism, but according, especially the two main religions, they've all been waiting for somebody to come and save everybody. Humanity's been waiting, because when we look at the way that's worked out, for over 2,000 years, minimum 2,000 years, both religions have said somebody is coming, and when that soul comes, everything's going to change. Well, what a tool to use to dumb down the masses and let them lose.
Waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting.
It's like everybody has been, not everybody, but a lot of people have gone, well, I don't need to do anything. So humanity is
We
not
give our
taking,
power away. We give our power.
humanity is not taking responsibility.
Yeah.
And then now we're at this moment, like you've said, where, so they've used that card. That card has been used. No, you all need to be quiet, calm down. There's somebody, they're on the way. They'll be in 5 minutes, 2000, I've got to confess, when the year 2000, 1999 finished at the very end, I went, well, that's just blew Christianity out the water then. Because he was supposed to have arrived after 2,000 years. Well, that was up 26 years ago. Sorry, but I'm not sorry. So, but nobody's going to save us. We are celestial cosmic beings. And I don't want to say we are powerful, because I don't like the connotations what that's got. But in a positive light way, there is a phenomenal power to our light, or to everybody's light. And cosmic beings, as you were saying, it's funny now, humanity's awakening, and humanity as a collective and individually, we are now we're becoming the adults. We're starting to take responsibility. It's my journey. If I'm hurt or offended, that's my problem. That's my situation. If I need to heal, I need to do it. So it's all in here. It's internally. So what we're saying from that is, I need to let my light shine, which means I need to peel all the layers off. And our friends in the other realms are helping us and helping that reflect that to us. So collectively, as we awaken and we reach a critical mass, a point of critical mass, in harmony with cosmic beings, that change is going to happen. It's clear it's going to happen, because we're approaching something that nobody wants to even imagine if we don't do this, because that is unimaginable. The human species will be off the planet if we don't do what we've come here to do. Every human being will be leaving this planet, because they want everybody off. When I say they, certain minds, they want it. But even they, for me, they're going to be coming into the light. We're seeing it. So this is very, very interesting stuff.
It's very, indeed it is. I was, well, first we'll get a little caught up with our friends who are making some beautiful comments too. And Brian Lara is saying our own frequency projected with action. That's a nice balance. I like that too. And Rick is quoting Nigel, another beautiful, fascinating mind too, with the "let it go, I am ready," because those layers, letting the layers go, letting give up our ghosts.
Yeah.
Too. So that's very helpful as well. I'll get Elizabeth too, and Arnie's saying exactly, and he's saying they use us to manifest the reality they want by leading us down a wrong path through news, media, and governments. We do have to be discerning, but we can't necessarily live under a rock either.
Yeah.
Too. So it's just finding such balance, and all of this is just as they've been hiding it since the beginning. No more. I'm surprised when I try to share, I'm seen as I'm from another planet. Well, that's given, but people so that may be changing. I'm seeing people all of a sudden seem to be much more open to because so much has been exposed, and they're just like, well, what else? Yeah. Buddhism focus on that which is within us, and everybody out of the pool.
I love that one.
Time for us all to grow up, right?
Yes.
Yeah. This may be my own, personality talking to, but I'm looking at our friends, and I can go out on the road and I can perceive there's a lot of spacecraft out there. I don't see them with my visual eyes, but I see them with my inner vision, and they're all there, and they're watching, and they're hanging out and observing this adventure, or whatever it is, greatest show on earth, I call it. But I'm just kind of like, can you help a little faster? Like, can we get some help beyond support? Actually, and maybe there just is, and I just haven't perceived that yet.
I understand it.
But I'm like, come on, frequency with action, like Brian says. So if we can do it, you guys can do it too. But
yeah, I get it. I get it, Jennifer. That's in a way, it's like It's an overlay from the conditioning, from our conditioning, with that lingering aspect where, well, are you going to help us? And they're standing there, all like, as you said, zipping in and out these realms, and they're saying, you've got to do it for yourselves. You've come to do this. When you reach a certain frequency collectively, then we can step in at that point, because then we're in harmony with them. Until we get to that frequency, they cannot step in. Otherwise, again, we're handing the responsibility over to somebody else again, i.e. cosmic beings, star beings, celestial beings. And now what's very interesting, if we start merging these two aspects, when we were making a reference to star beings and cosmic beings, and then we're looking at our own awareness in its most purest form, with that multitude of knowledge from all our previous incarnations here present within and around us, we know we're actually in harmony with them. We are in conjunction with them. We're working together with them. We know this on such a frequency. I don't want to say higher frequency, but people, understand it when we say higher frequency. When we communicate, or as we're communicating with those other beings on those higher frequencies, even as we're talking right now, we are all communicating with them on those higher frequencies right now. What I believe is happening is, once we come out of the density, this shell, once we can get this shell transformed, then our conscious mind, this conscious frequency of awareness, rises up. And then that will be the moment when we merge and blend with them. And we go, okay, the collective, what we're talking about, isn't just the collective on the planet of the human species and spiritual minds. The collective is the cosmic collective. That when we merge with them consciously on those frequencies and vibrations, and we don't drop back down, we think we've got to ascend in one level. We've got to ascend like channeling. Okay, we need to ascend to communicate with them. In effect, what we need to do is empty ourselves, clear our mind, and we will naturally attune with them. And then they'll go, okay, this is the game. This is what's happening. And we start moving from that kind of frequency with them. Because I understand, this event is inciting all sorts of thoughts and feelings inside people. Masses, that multitude of anger, frustration, anger at what's happening, frustration that a mind may feel like it can't do anything, etc., etc. Trepidation, fear is in there. So there's all this kind of, these many different aspects, all relating to our present consciousness. So once we clear our present consciousness and abide in the light, it's a different ballgame, because then we know when to make a move, when to say something, when to keep quiet, and this is all aspects of action. The only time we're going to achieve this outcome, what we're all dreaming and thinking and hoping and wishing for, is when we actually go into action. We've literally, it's like, oh, it's not happening to me. It's like what we're seeing on the other side of the planet. So you've got people in the West, and you've got situations in Africa, the Middle East, Ukraine, etc., and other people around the world. They're not just mentally, emotionally detached. They're going, oh, it's over there. I'm not affected by it. Only when I get personally affected will I make a move. And I think that's maybe the biggest issue. We've got to say, this, I actually am affected. This energy is involving my auric field. It's involving my mind and my consciousness. I am part of the collective, and therefore I am affected by this, and I need to take action. But people are distracted. They've got the 9-to-5 jobs. They're busy with the mortgages, looking after their children, feeding them, etc. The old cycle, climbing the ladder of corporate materialistic success. A lifetime of climbing the ladder, and by the time you get to the ladder, what they want, they're 70 years old and drop dead the following morning, and that's it. Bye bye. It's like, okay, that was very meaningful, wasn't it? So
Yeah, I see what you're saying. There's some talk about watching, grabbing our popcorn and enjoying the show too. And then Arnie's talking about the prime directive. Truth is given as fiction in movies and shows so you do not believe it too, because oh yeah, I see. So that because we've seen it in movies, we think it must not be true in reality. So that's a little tricky there with that one too. But I'm like, I don't want him to save us, Colin. I just want him to help more. Screw the prime
yeah,
directive. Look what's happening. Like,
yeah.
sorry, I'm a rebel, folks. You're just gonna have to put up with me. It's like,
No,
screw
it's
it.
true. Well,
I
look,
am a light being. I am a star seed myself, and I'm just like, okay, sisters and brothers out there in the galactic universe, we could use a little bit more help. So you can
we
laugh at me if you want, but
we're playing. The thing is, it's like we are playing yourself, everybody in this space right now, all of us. I mean,
yeah.
let's have a look at it on another frequency then.
Okay,
So
go
let's
on.
say on the cameras at the minute is Colin, physically Colin and Jennifer, and behind the scenes, beautiful souls helping us, and then everybody in the chat, everybody watching, all of us collectively, we are actually doing it. Our presence is doing it. Our presence is the action, what's bringing the change about. But we have a tendency to go, I want to see it happen right now. Like, come on. It's like, and
Well,
yet we're doing it in the most
yeah.
beautiful, magical role. Sorry, go on, Jennifer.
I it's just like I want to parallel with this dog rescue, and it went beyond political persuasion and beyond religious texts, and it was like multiple states, government, people all over made this happen, and that's why it's been successful so far too. So it's like
Yeah.
we really do need a all hands on deck
Yes.
approach to this as well too. And I'm just not sure if the destructive minds care. I think they're more than happy with our prime directive, and it just could give them more license to misbehave. So forgive me if I'm misunderstanding or being overly rebellious in this one too. But it's
Keep
just
going.
because my heart, I
Yeah.
you know I would like to, and it is changing. It's changing all around me, and it's very exciting. And the awe and the wonder of the awakening, the mass awakening. So I'm not discounting the
Yeah.
beauty of the awakening that's happened, and but it's an existential crisis for many to see it's this bad. And Colin, people are saying, "Where is God in all this?"
Yeah.
Some people are running towards religion
Yeah.
because it's so hard. So it's like, what do we do with that?
Well, what we're looking at is when we've got to look at the psyche, haven't we? We've got to look at the consciousness itself. And let's say the rings or layers of consciousness. We know each ring or each layer of consciousness is whether we call it a wavelength, a frequency, or vibration of awareness. So we expand, and the same with when we're going into the altered state. We're moving through various frequencies of our own awareness. So when we're in the middle of this situation, which we're in, this event on the planet, each individual mind is doing exactly that. It's moving through the frequencies of its own awareness. And therefore, what takes place as a direct result is in between each frequency is or rest the thoughts of our understanding of the event and life and existence itself. So during each transition between one frequency to another, those thoughts have also got the attaching emotions. And that's why it weighs heavy on our heart. And it's like, okay, this is serious now. This is bad. Well, Colin could sit here and say, well, actually, over 30 years ago, I could have told everybody it was serious because it was like, it's going to hit the fan massive. Okay. So, but
Yeah.
Colin doesn't like doing stuff like that, It's the 30-year syndrome, I call it, I've been doing this 30 years. It's like, and the thing is, it's that space between frequencies, and when we hit that new frequency and we have that next vibration of awareness where the light pops, it's kind of, okay then. And we've dissolved that initial ring of awareness, that kind of frequency, and so on and so on and so on. So I get what you're saying entirely, Jennifer. What we're looking at on the planet is the old saying, each must bear its own cross. So we're all carrying a cross. We've all got a cross to bear, both of our own karmic cycles and clearing our karma, and the karma as a collective on the planet, and then a collective off planet. So when we look at it from that perspective, from let's say a multidimensional or another dimensional aspect, looking down upon ourselves or at ourselves from that distance, we can sit there and say everything is okay. It doesn't appear to the human mind, it looks absolutely horrific. And I know some people say, Colin, you can't sit there and say everything was okay. I don't mean in the physical, material sense. We know it's not. That's why we're here, to prevent it. But ultimately, when we view reality, everything is okay. And yet that's the terrifying bit in its own way. Because we can't sit there and go, well, that's suffering what's taking place, as an example, in Iran, etc., or anywhere else for that matter. Somebody being killed or maimed, women, children is a classic. Is that okay, Colin? No, of course it's not. What do we do about it? Well, we have a choice. We either stop the system and go into it, but we must go into action. So, okay, sitting there talking about it and thinking about it and writing about it, that does not work. Action is the only thing what happens. So we're left with a choice. Do we remove those what are causing this hurt and pain, or do we go within and shine our lights and clear and remove all negative aspects what we possibly can from within us, so our light radiates, and hopefully that radiating energy is going to change their thinking? I go with the second one. I love action. I'm like, I nearly said I'm action man, but I'm not. But I love action, because this is it. We've had thought and we've had feelings. Now is the time for action. The question is, what action are we going to take? In this case, Arnie's using his voice. Is in action. His voice, the speech is actually a form of action. So he's narrating this journey, so people can kind of get the benefit and wake up, or not wake up, but listen. You have to stop me, Jennifer. Go on, jump in quickly.
Now, I get what you're saying, because when we come back into the frequency of connection, we see an innate perfection in source consciousness too, and I think it may be hard for people to grasp that that there is a source that may desire to experience a multitude of frequencies on a very high spectrum. I'm wording that delicately as well too. It doesn't change the holiness of the spirit, shall I say too. That doesn't get lost in that understanding. But it's on one hand I see progress, and on another hand it's like, oh, in Afghanistan women aren't allowed to speak in public anymore, and they're not even to be allowed to speak loud enough to be heard from somebody walking by, for example, too. So it's like you see the destruction and the repair coming at the same time. So the dance is happening in front of our eyes, and it is definitely a grab your popcorn and watch this play out kind of scene too. So we're coming into something also very philosophical, which is suffering. And do we continue to accept that suffering is necessary for growth, or has something gone wrong with the way the system decided to change humanity in a way that maybe it wasn't designed for? So it's like, it has gone wrong, it hasn't gone wrong. So that's a lot for minds to be able to comprehend, let alone just what's been exposed as well too. So it's like, and I know we're not gonna solve the problem of human suffering in 1 hour here.
Unfortunately.
But I think many of us would agree we would like to see at least an improvement.
Yes.
Something very tangible, where we can start really like working together on this too. And so there were some questions about AI, so I'll shift as that of what their role. So there's definitely concerns about that as well, because that's a whole nother thing, is what power might it have then to turn into the movie with the Matrix, where the machines take over and become conscious. Like, that's the thing too. So choose from the issue has always been about fear doing this, exactly what they have wanted. Speak your truth, be authentic. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Totally agree, Annie.
yeah.
It's like when people are asking where God is, which they've been asking for years, 2,000 years, and even more so, many people are asking that now. Where is God in all this? Well, look in a mirror.
That's a good answer.
Simple as that. And that is the biblical. There's a biblical term making reference to it. It's inside us. It's like when we wake up in the morning, whose eyes open? When we get out of bed, who gets us out of bed? Who gets us dressed? Who feeds us? Who's putting the coffee on? Who's putting the kettle on? Who's cutting the grass? Who's getting in the car and driving the car? Who is it? Is there somebody else?
Who's the one having this thought? Who's having this thought? Was that my thought?
That's
Or
right.
who's the me? Who's the my? Who's the I am?
We are an ascended, walking consciousness. And the sooner humanity recognizes this, the better. So, but it is, the suffering aspect. It's an amazing question in that respect when we're trying to understand it, because we're at the point where is what is happening on the planet meant to be? Is it a point or where we just say it just is? And if it just is, what can we do about it? How can we assist to prevent the suffering? I don't believe we will stop coming to this realm until all suffering has stopped upon it. I don't believe it. And I think we will voluntarily keep coming back as souls of light and go, that suffering has got to stop. I like what Lizzie was saying earlier.
That's
and then come back to the AI one.
Yeah, I agree with you, because if God is me looking in the mirror, then I can say, let's make this better. We can do better. We can do a heck of a lot better. For me, I feel the action of removing our own layers and staying in the energy of the light is the right frequency for me in this moment personally. But I feel people must choose their own way forward that honors themselves. We are all on our own journey. Very well put. Thank you, Elizabeth.
100%. This is Lizzie. She often comes on Cosmic Lounge for talk. So
nice to meet you, Lizzie.
And she does channeling and mediumship and all sorts. She's a beautiful mind. Thank you so much, Lizzie.
Yeah, great to see you, Lizzie. Thank you for contributing. Yeah. And then going back to AI, Terminator, they put it out there that AI would take over the world in the Terminator movie. Great music, by the way, in that movie. Why would they do that? They want you to think it and manifest it. AI in my reality will be for the greater good. I love that. AI and our reality will be for the greater good.
It's an interesting moment, isn't it? Because when we look at it, again, it's down to perception. If we perceive AI in its current physical form and the way it's presented to us, then the system wants to remove the human species. Well, we can get to the point. It can't stand it. It can't stand humans. Negativity and dark forces cannot stand us. It hates the light of who we are and what we stand for. It cannot stand love, and it wants to destroy it. So that leaves us with a question. I know a lot of people, that might be shocking to a lot of people, but it was like, okay, let's cut to the chase. This is what's happening. It's like we've been,
You did it, Colin.
It wants to, those dark forces or dark energies and the minds, and they are deeply suffering. They are still souls of light within them, but it's that deep they've lost control to the darkness of their own negative aspects. So therefore, the healing is greatly needed, and compassion. I understand all that. I get that, and I believe in that. Even what we may consider the darkest soul, which there isn't a dark soul, I don't believe.
Me too.
But the most dense one requires compassion and love and healing. Having said that, while it's in its present form in an uncontrolled manner, and what we're seeing around the world at the minute is like a rabid dog. It's uncontrolled, it's lashing out, and it wants to utilize AI to remove the species. If we are not careful and if we do not come together, there is a possibility this could be the last generations of the human species on the planet. So that's one side. On the flip side, what we're looking at is as the light gets more intense and gets brighter on the planet, negativity gets denser, and it's throwing out its kind of energy. So it's causing wars here, conflict there, divide there, division there, on a mass scale at the moment. It's all controlled. It's a controlled demolition, and it's all to make sure they stay on the planet and stay in the world, but they will just want to control it all. So then that leaves us as spiritual minds, if we call ourselves spiritual minds, cosmic beings, but also in harmony, as always, with our spiritual guides and those beings of light, saying to us, whatever you do, manifest the light as much as you possibly can. And at the core, keep that love emanating as beautifully as we possibly can. Let those emotions, those pure frequencies, because we're talking frequencies, which I'd like to come to in a minute. We're talking pure frequencies of love permeating the space of the planet. And that's what, if anything is going to, is somebody coming to rescue us, those pure frequencies of love and thought are going to be the ones what get us safely through this transition. Because we are reaching a certain point. We know we are. Anyway.
It's a good message. It's this what I got to was hold the light, and stay focused on the love. Clip that AI. AI will make clips of this later, so we're using it for good.
Sorry, Evelyn. I was just looking at what Evelyn was saying.
Oh yeah. Let's see here what she's got here. She's saying, "Are you saying that AI is negative?" She missed that part. Too, not necessarily, but people may want to use that in a negative way, I think is what Colin was saying.
Like AI is like the car. It's like AI is like a car, which, and funny enough, it's mechanical, but it's the driver who must be responsible. And if you've got an irresponsible driver at the wheel of a car, then a lot of damage can be done. And what we're seeing is the initial damage getting done by it. So until we've got a competent driver at the wheel, it's going to be precarious for everybody. Thank you, Evelyn. That was a good point, though.
That was a very good point. Yeah. I still do believe, no matter how, perhaps Source is on this grand experiment to see how bad it could get and how much, love and beauty can survive. We'll see. But I still believe I have not lost the from the depth of my being that you can't destroy beauty, you can't destroy love, and you can't destroy hope. It's always going to be there. As much as they try to break the spirit, they can't. It's just impossible. I don't know why we'd keep trying, but hey, persistence there.
Well, Pandora's box, isn't it?
Yeah.
The last remaining thing was hope. It can't be destroyed.
There we go. That's funny. That keeps coming up, Pandora's box. So, okay, my next question for you, Colin, is now that belief systems are changing dramatically because of all of these really hard things being exposed, especially to children and to women, and the wars and everything. And I have had the ETs channel through me this week. They said the wars have to stop. It's just very bluntly, like the wars must end. So that's a thing. We've got to hold the light for that too. But is what we might call the parts of the grid that need to be healed or transformed, or I'm trying to put this very delicately, that are fed by not knowing. Because it looks to me like when I tune into that, it looks like it's cracking, and crumbling a little bit. So when we all start to basically wake up to what's been happening, for a long time, that we maybe couldn't accept or didn't realize or didn't know, didn't even have time to, because we're so busy raising families and doing our jobs and all of this kind of stuff too. Does that, just that mass knowing, like as sad as it is, does that like basically crumble, an existing overlay or system itself? Like just the mass, so many people now understanding and knowing something that they didn't before. That's a massive breakdown in a psychic belief, a collective psychic belief, right? Within the psyche, right? So that is a structure that is now crumbling down to the ground. What does that do to the grid, the collective consciousness, to make space for change? Did I just open up Pandora's box?
No, you've just opened up, I think you've just opened up one of the most beautiful conversations anybody could have on this planet at this minute, Jennifer.
Oh, well, thank you.
Seriously. and the reason why I say that is because if we look at a grid of energy around the world, or wherever it is, it's permeating through it, whichever way we view it. But let's say, as an example, just for visualization purposes, that there is a grid, a web, or netting around the planet. And in that grid is humanity's accumulated thoughts from time memorial on this planet and emotions from time memorial on this planet. That grid has been filled with it. Now we know the planet has seen one thing, as well as the continuous presence of a species of light, human species or whatever we call it. So the planet has been inhabited for a certain period of time memorial. Let's put it that way. Okay, since it came into being. So what we're looking at is all those thoughts and feelings, the emotions in that grid, packed into that grid around the planet. Okay, in the space around us, so to speak. We know one thing has been taking place on the planet continuously, more than any other, apart from the presence of human beings, and that's wars and conflict. So what's happened is a mass of energy, fear energy, hate, pain, emotional, mental, all types of, let's say, painful, what we call negative aspects, has been fed into that grid totally over since we can imagine. Now what's taking place is humanity's awakening. The souls on the planet now, everybody, or the majority, is now expanding their psyche, and they're taking responsibility. They're clearing the hate and pain, not just physically, mentally, emotionally from this lifetime, but many other lifetimes which they've inhabited on this planet. What that's doing is sending light through the grid. So I know this, we can say there's light workers, there's grid workers, which is fine, I respect. But the real work for me is the awakening as we unfold and expand our consciousness, and we deal with our own inner sufferings and clear and transform our own life, pain and suffering. That energy then sends absolute stunning shock waves of light through the grid. Now, what's interesting is the old grid, or the grid as it used to be filled with negativity, was utilized by negative minds. And I'm going to come somewhere else with this, if I may, in a moment as well, because this extra point is very, very relevant. So forces have used the old fear energy, the suffering energy, negative energy, which was in the grid, and they've drawn upon that energy, literally drawn upon it. Now, if you imagine, or if we imagine where we draw on the light to heal and offer love and compassion and help somebody, the flip side is they've been drawing on the fear and negativity. And from that fear and negativity previously, they've been able to manifest wars, divide and division. This Machiavellian way of a system in order to keep a certain level of destruction going on the planet in order for them to maintain control. So they're running out of energy. So what's happening? So where are they getting the energy from? They can't. There is no source of energy for them. The source of energy has been all this suffering which has been laid on the wavelength, frequencies, and vibrations of the grid. So they're running out of energy in order to manifest all the negative aspects. So what they're doing, they are cornered. So they're lashing out. And that's why we're seeing so much negative energy on the planet at the minute. Therefore, as the light shines, goes around the world, it goes into the grid, darkness doesn't like it. Don't do that. You can't do that. So it's trying to cause more divide. It's trying to cause more harm, more hate, more pain, more suffering. Okay. So as mediums, the second part of this, if I may, the second part of this, as psychics and mediums and channels, etc., we often hear people say, oh, hang on, I can feel this negative energy around me. Oh, hang on, I feel like I'm being psychically attacked. Okay. Draw it in. Draw the energy in. Utilize it. Draw the energy towards your own light, because your own light will then transform it before it even gets close to your heart or your soul. And it'll be transformed into what? Light. We can't say we are transformers on one hand and not transform.
Well said. We forget that part.
So that was that.
Doing. Yeah.
This for me, Jennifer, is why when we're talking about the change, you've just raised one of the most relevant points on the planet at this moment. Like, I've studied this for many, many years. And then the other aspect which I wanted to kind of throw in is when we're talking about wavelengths, frequencies, and vibrations, and when we're talking about energy, and we're talking about how to bring this change to an end, or bring the suffering to an end, then it's the ideal way to do it is really, really embody those aspects, embody wavelengths, embody the thought. Everything we're thinking is a frequency. Everything we're feeling is a frequency, and be consciously aware of it. The essence here is to be consciously aware. The person we're looking at is a wave of energies. What are they saying to us? What frequency, what words are they using, and what frequency are they resonate when they speak to us? What feeling do we have? What's the frequency we have about that person? And really start reading and sensing energies and not just talk about it. What we're doing at that point then is going into action again. Everything comes back to action.
So it sounds like hold the light, keep doing the work, shedding the layers, letting go, and do your transform yourself and transform the energies as they show up in your arena.
There is no matrix. There is no matrix. It's a myth. We are it. We are the grid. The grid is awareness. It's cosmic awareness, and it's multidimensional. There's a multitude of grids. A multitude. Probably we have what's called the etheric web, which is a grid where our thoughts and emotions flow through us. That's our own etheric web.
Mm-hmm.
And we know those thoughts and emotions are made up of different frequencies. We know that because we know we think differently one minute to the next. So we're changing frequencies at all time. That's within our etheric grid. That's in our web. And if we don't sort it out, that goes out into the etheric web of the planet. So this whole saying of be careful what you think, thought is a living thing. Be careful what you think. Woof. We should really be careful what we think. And say,
Well,
and do.
that's and that's where we get into the paradox, because if we try to disassociate from the thought and just say, oh no, don't think that, then it tends to still find a way out sideways. So you have to be able to face the thought and transform the thought and figure out where it's coming from too. So like that's an art in itself. But Stacia Cherry is saying it's powerful, the collective consciousness. Yes. Hi, Stacia. Good to see you.
Hi, Stacia.
She's going to be on our Sunday service with Fran and Kelly and Nancy this Sunday. So we'll see you all this Sunday. The more people know the truth, the quicker we see change. Why silence is not the answer. Yeah, makes sense. Vivian, lovely question. How can we prepare or strengthen our skills to successfully survive the ascension process? Good question.
Beautiful question. Go for it, Jennifer. I saw that pause, obviously.
I would say keep facilitating your own self-love process. Keep working through that. Keep honoring yourself and your inner self, your little self, and your big self. And one is not more important than the other. Is we all at the end of the day, we have to keep understanding that we all matter. Right? We all belong, and we can't lose our connection to humanity and the need to belong and togetherness and working together as well too. And what Colin said is like, even the darkest forces need compassion. This is what Jesus would say, not going religious, just going from spiritual context, right? And that's very, very hard to do. You can still say it's wrong and give compassion for the dark, because that's how else do we transform it? Not through more darkness, right? Not through more hate energy as well too. Take care of your space. And love each other and look out for each other. It's totally. I know it's kind of simple, and don't stop believing in love. Don't stop believing in hope, and do always remember there is beauty to be found. Yeah. And it's inside of you, Vivian.
Yeah.
If you're going to look for it, it's inside of you. And Hawaii.
Hawaii. Absolutely beautiful, Jennifer.
The violet flame is a great tool, as Arnie was saying. The violet flame, beautiful, pulling in the purple light, to help, just as a tool of transformation that you can transform with your own intention as well too. Maybe we should do a class on transforming energy, or a show.
Well, I like this one.
Gotcha.
Jennifer. Wow. So I just want to. Yeah, go on. Sorry, Jennifer, go on.
Oh, I know we're almost at time. So Jennifer McCormick had a question about grids and stargates being the same. But if you want to go back to Vivian's question, you can shift backwards. You're very good. You're very good at maintaining all of the points and packaging them. I have to give you credit, Colin. That's not easy to do.
It's. No, just I had a thought, and I thought, bite your tongue, Colin, bite your tongue. Right. So, sounded like a strange voice spoke through just then. Yes.
Yeah, we start channeling after a while.
Hi, Mark. Lovely to have you with us, Mark. And Rish. So, just quickly, hi, Rish and Stacia. Yes, this one actually, if we can fire away with a couple of bits, because I like this one. What Stacia brought, shifting from ego-driven division to interconnected awareness. Absolutely, 100%. Stacey.
Yeah.
It's like as we dissolve aspects within us. No, let's put it what it is. As we transform the lower frequencies from our own awareness, it's transforming the ego. It's dissolving the ego in a simultaneous manner. So for every thought, what we may have, which may be of a negative nature, what we don't let go of it, and we don't actually dissolve it. We transform it, because as forms of energy, there's a lot of chemical reactions on a cosmic level taking place, way beyond physical particles, atoms, etc. It's way beyond that. So there's a reaction takes place with thought energy or emotional energy. So every negative aspect within us also, in a basic form, destroys that aspect of the ego, what was in there as well. So because the ego is in so many aspects, but generally speaking, the ego is a low dense frequency. It's a base energy. So because it can't exist in the higher frequencies because it's too light. So that was a really good point, that one, Stacia.
Yeah, and this will bring another point to Vivian's question of what we can do is keep enhancing your own telepathic connection, and that includes emotional attunement as well too. Because with telepathic connection, ego can't, we can't hide. We can't hide from our thoughts and feelings and stuff like that. Might be scary to people, and it is hard because as I develop my telepathic connection, I am more telepathic, and so I can see what's going on behind the scenes, and I'm just like, all right, well, I've got information, but then it's sometimes it's what you want to know, what you finally know too. Like, I didn't want to know that, but I know that. Okay. It's like,
do you know what, Jennifer? I'm so pleased you've raised this side of it, because there was, I didn't know whether they wanted to throw this one in with that, but they've just said, go on, just throw this one in. So when we look at telepathy, as Rish said earlier, it's not new, it's always been here, but, and I agree with that point, definitely. The aspect of telepathy is a natural aspect of our psyche, because the psyche, as we know, is consciousness, and when we become conscious of other people's thoughts and feelings, we're actually telepathically picking them up, we're sensing them. So telepathy and the psyche are almost one and the same. It's just kind of a use of the psyche. Okay. And we know when we're given a psychic reading, or we're reading somebody psychically, it's a telepathic interaction. We're sensing it by our own telepathic means. So we're separating, in a way, psyche from telepathy, and we shouldn't. We should be blending them both. And do it, and so anyway, I don't want to open that up too much.
No, you're right, and that does include. We're going to have to do part 3, Colin. Sorry, we're just a team for good now, if you don't mind. You're stuck with me.
I'm so sorry, everybody.
I claimed you. But we also have to remember, you can also, it's your channeling, it's your claircognizance, but it's also your clairsentience, because your emotional attunement can oftentimes be more trustworthy than your thought attunement too, because when it comes through the mind, it can get changed and distorted through the filter process too. And so we continue to build that attunement, but with emotions, it's much harder to basically put a filter onto. So what you feel is what you feel. Then it's just discerning, was that me or was that other? If that kind of makes sense too. So what we're going to have to do a show on that, Colin. You're stuck with me.
Let's go with it. Yes.
All right, my friend. I think we got to wrap it up. And I'm so grateful to all of our friends who have been here as like supporting and offering such, they've really been contributing to this conversation with all kinds of wisdom. And I just so appreciate it too. I want to give a little Mark. I just want to read his comment too. The force outside is working against the greater good. There's a point coming soon where they will lose power and control, and the greater good of all will shift to a higher power. Yeah, I love that. I do believe we're getting there. Well said. Yes, well said. Well said. Any final thoughts, my friend? Thank you for being my esteemed guest on Embracing Infinity with all of your knowledge, wisdom, your time, your presence, your light, your love.
As always, it's an exceptionally humbling experience to be in everybody's presence. Yours, everybody in the chat, everybody what's been watching. If we're going to do this, we can only do it the way we're doing it right now, and that's together. And I can't express sufficiently the importance of everybody in the chat being present here, as well as, and it's a wonderful experience with you, Jennifer. As always, it's a wonderful experience. Collectively, you know, including Kelly, Laura, etc. And the main thing is, it's happening. As the more we do this, the more we're bringing about that beautiful change, which we're all hoping for. And please, whatever you do, don't just stay light. That's loosely spoken words. Literally be it at all times, whenever you possibly can, and keep your vibrations as high as you can.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's been amazing.
It has been amazing. Yeah. Even if we're presented with hard stuff, we can still hold the light. Still hold the light.
Yeah. Don't run at the moment. Try not to run from your fears. This is to everybody. Don't run from your fears. Draw them towards your light. Your light will just transform them immediately. You'll be surprised.
And you know what I always say, Colin? What you run from will chase you.
Oh yes.
Don't forget that one, folks.
I've had some kind of cosmic monkey chasing me through different dimensions for lifetimes. I still can't get him off my shoulder.
Little cosmic humor to end our show. And on that note, I want to thank you all for joining me and Colin, and thank you, Lori, for taking care of us. Thank you to all of our beautiful friends and guests on Embracing Infinity this fine Friday. Please remember to join Kelly Brickle in just a little while with her show. And we've got messages from the Enchanted Realms and Guided Life tomorrow, and a bunch of shows next week as well, too. So love you so much, and hope to see you all on Sunday service as well this coming Sunday with our guest medium, Lynn Juno. And with that, have a beautiful Friday afternoon and evening, a beautiful weekend. Much love to everybody. And thank you so much for being here today with all of your loving energy and support. You too, Colin. Thank you. Big hugs.
And you. Thank you so much.